3 rounds to go in the 2025 NTT INDYCAR Series. One road course remains, and it's here at Portland International Raceway. Welcome, folks, to Fox's coverage of INDYCAR, and welcome to first practice. Well, practice underway here in Portland. Everybody making their way out on track. As we said in the run-up, guys, Kyffin Simpson with a 6th place penalty in his pocket coming into this weekend, announced just a few moments ago before we came on air.
Yeah, IndyCar changed that rule a few years ago because there was really no penalty for the offending driver if you take out some cars or a car and can't continue yourself. And so putting that penalty in place, which carries forward to this round, unfortunately for Kyffin, but I think he'd be the first to raise his hand and say, hey, I just screwed up on the start, took out Felix Rosenquist, and going to pay the price with 6 spots starting Sunday.
Well, speaking of another one of the young drivers, it's 20-year-old Nolan Siegel, and the Arrow McLaren number 6 team had a big scare about 1 hour ago when they discovered a hybrid issue back in the paddock, and that's something you would normally like to have a good hour plus to be able to sort through and make the proper changes. But Chris Stafford, the chief mechanic overseeing all 3 cars, was back there leading this charge with all of the Arrow McLaren group together, and they got it done in about 40 minutes, and actually we're out here on the pit lane ready to go before anyone even thought about going green. So no concerns. They're sitting here right now simply because they don't feel like they have enough tires to run the entire time. But now they go into work, and we're going to see Nolan Siegel get out there and get to work here very shortly.
As we ride on board with Pato O'Ward, who is still in championship contention if he can beat Alex Palou. And Palou has an absolute horror show, and he keeps the gap less than 108 points. Then we still have a title fight as he gets close to the wall. We still have a title fight. It's not impossible, but it is getting increasingly unlikely.
Talked to Pato O'Ward this morning about Portland. I said, hey, flying up here and watching the race from last year, Pato, I had to struggle to figure out where you even were. You were so far back. What happened? He said, we just were slow. I said, was it a balance issue? No, we were just slow. The balance was good. I was just slow. He said, but I was on pole here in Indy next. I know how to drive this place, but maybe this will be a weekend like Toronto where I told you guys we really don't have a shot and we're a half second off, and we managed to figure out a way to win. So Pato O'Ward and McLaren are really looking to have a big bounce back in just car speed performance at Portland this weekend. Meanwhile, for Alex Palou, this is one of his best tracks, one of his favorite places to come.
On the back of another one of his favorite tracks and another one of his favorite places to go, which was Laguna Seca. I mean, you talk about Toronto, Townsend, and it was a track that he said, he didn't enjoy. It never been kind to him in the past. He won. Palou's outside the top 10, 30-point swing. Again, you get a repeat of that this weekend. We go on to Milwaukee.
James, Alex Palou's raced here 4 times. Never qualified outside the top 5. 3 finishes of first, and second.
Well, one guy who, looked like he was in contention for wins on a number of occasions in the early part of the season was Colton Herta. Some issues for him, though, down on pit lane. Kevin, what can you tell us?
He has had some momentum, 4th and 3rd in the last 2 starts, but on the install lap, just the out lap where they checked the systems, HRC Honda discovered something they didn't really like. It is something they're looking at. They've been taking a look at the engine. We've got Honda techs over the wall trying to sort this out. So nothing definitive at this point, but they have a lot of computers that are trying to protect these engines, and they want to make sure that everything is working properly. So for now, the 26th Cambridge car sits on pit lane.
Thanks, Kevin. We have a red flag as we have some debris or an implement of some kind. Oh,
hoser, eh?
Helmet hose, maybe?
No, that's not a helmet hose.
That's more like
brake hose.
Brake, yeah.
I said, and that's Scott Dixon.
And that is over in turn 12. That tricky section that Jack was talking about as the red flag is out.
I'm surprised it came out that early. He's running, obviously, still trying to find reverse. Reverse is run off the hybrid system. There's no reverse gear in the gearbox. It's simply a reversing of the direction that the hybrid runs.
But he's in a danger. I like IndyCar jumping right into that and getting on the red flag there, keeping the drivers safe. That's a great call from race control as Dixon just locks up the right front. But he's in a vulnerable position at a very high speed part of the racetrack. So No issue there for me. I'm glad IndyCar quick to get on the button and slow things down.
Completely agree.
Good to see this guy finally getting after it in anger. Currently last on the time charts, but they had issues. Colton Herta back on track. Kevin, what can you tell us?
Doesn't even have a time yet. So after what we reported earlier with Honda and HRC seeing some concerns, they came in, worked on it for a while, thought it was sorted, went out, didn't like that either. He just left with, what, 3 minutes left in this session. So his next lap will be his first flying lap. I'm listening to the radio now, and I've heard nothing, which I think is a good thing. Maybe it is fixed, but not a lot of time. Luckily, this is the only team that tested here, so Colton Herta was just here very recently.
Was a flyer, found traffic. Frustrating, but that's what's going to happen at the end of a session when you've been forced to sit on pit lane.
Got some kind of issue here. All of a sudden was off power there. I saw that purple light pop up, but that was not what he was looking for to start this lap. Wonder if he's going to have to come in right now. No, he's back out. It's looked a little strange there on the back straightaway.
2 long straights here, 2 big opportunities to deploy the hybrid around the track. You're going to get about 1.7 total pushes.
You could just hear from this onboard the floor of the car scraping when he hits the brakes. That's what really dictates your ride heights in an Indy car at a nice smooth racetrack like Portland. End of the straightaway, you hit the brakes, all that weight transfers forward. The car's already running at its lowest because all the downforce is pushing it down, and the front of the floor just scrapes and skids as he backs off for traffic.
This got to be frustrating for Colton. Looks like he's going to make a front roll bar adjustment, stiffen up that front bar just a little bit. Fire off one more time. He's got 40 seconds to get to the timing line, so he will get a full lap.
Well, this is a short lap, guys. 59 seconds. We're going to dip below that pretty quickly here when those soft tires go on. But it is hard to find a gap with 27 cars around a short racetrack, which is exactly why we split this group up into 2 for these next 2 sessions.
The good news is with 20 seconds to go, there shouldn't be anybody trying to whoa up over in turn 7 this lap. Everybody will be looking to finish cleanly and come to the pits. So Colton's best chance. Things looking so far so good the first half of this time lap. I love this section right here, Will. Reminds me of kind of like an oval corner. 3 right-hand apexes through turns 4 and 5. Tremendous flow. It's a long time laterally loaded. And then you got to tidy things up right here and then make sure you get squared up and really nail the apex for turn 7.
Talk about oval. The interesting thing with 7 for me when I got there for the first time is there's a little bit of banking that just draws you in at that corner.
What's cool about that is it lets you kind of run the high line as well if you want to go side by side through there in a fun battle, which we'll see lots of on Sunday. There's the alt-start finish line and Herta up to P8.
Wow, that's a nice lap from Colton Herta right at the end of the session. Riding on board with Christian Lundgaard, rapid fast in the first part of practice.
Where did Connor Daly just come out with a 59.4?
And while we sit on board with Lundgaard, courtesy of Mission Foods, Kevin, what can you tell us about Christian Lundgaard?
I can also answer Townsend's question. Connor Daly is one of the few on the softs. Quite a few started this session on the hard compound. Christian Lundgaard is on the soft, and he's just gone to the top, which is where he was in the hard session as well. The team, as you guys discussed earlier last year, not good here. So Lundgaard, I asked him, do you think they'll figure something out? And he said, yeah, I'm actually pretty optimistic because of what we've had on road courses this season. And I think we have something that is going to transfer. He's finished second twice this year. He's tired of finishing second. He said that's a good position to be in. 5 podiums aren't good enough anymore. He just wants to get that first win with Arrow McLaren.
How about this guy? Has been on pole here.
Indeed.
Defending pole winner. Going to see what he can do. Running around, getting his soft tires up to temperature, up to pace.
Pretty cool moment for Santino Ferrucci last year. I'll never forget Will Power making his way down pit lane to come find Santino to congratulate him, knowing that Ferrucci shares the setup with Team Penske, and super impressed with the pace of Ferrucci for his first pole.
Four minutes left in the session. Ferrucci out on the soft tire. Pretty much everybody will be running out on the soft tire, trying to get close to Christian Lundgaard's lap time of 58.6. 58.5. That time from Rossi, but 59.4 was set on the... Actually, no, 59.5 was set on the hard. So 59.4 his first attempt on the soft. Rahal now up to second. Exit of that corner, so crucial for this part of the track.
Yeah, all the way down to first gear there for Santino. I wonder if anybody opts to run second gear there. That's an awfully tall first, but the rear tires had the grip for him to really just slam the throttle down without any wheel spin. Puts Ferrucci up into sixth for now. Will Power jumps to P4. Rosenqvist.
There you go. You know, not surprising at all. We spoke to him this morning as well, and he said that this is one of his best tracks. He loves it here. Average finish here is 6.8. Statistically, one of his strongest ones. So this is a place that, you know, his best finish here, second twice. He knows how to get it done around here. So
far, the drivers that were pretty confident when we talked to him this morning are backing it up with Graham Rahal, Connor Daly, Lundgaard, and Rosenqvist. Coast car getting a little jumpy there.
Going through the whoops. Up to P9 for Santino. Just ahead of Dev DiFrancesco.
Back on board with Alexander Rossi. Needs a good result in this final part of what has been, by his standards, a disappointing season. Would have wanted more with this new tie-up with ECR, but of course it is just still early days with a team which is very much in the throes of rebuilding, re-establishing itself, finding that new direction.
And these are qual sims, so for Alexander Rossi, if this lap is not good, he just did one at a 59.4. He's almost a second off of Christian Lundgaard. These are qual sims, so we're split groups. This would mean qualifying at or around 22nd, which would be very frustrating. Let's see if Rossi could go better as he approaches the timing line right there.
And the answer is yes, a little bit, 58.9, but this is the thing that really stands out to me, guys. 0 top 5 finishes so far in the season. Never happened before for Alex in his IndyCar career. That would be a frustration for sure if he gets to the end of the season and hasn't managed to get inside the top 5, and obviously a podium would be a dream at this point.
A new strategist for Alexander Rossi this weekend, none other than Mr. Ed Carpenter. To the top, guess who? Alex Palou. But still nowhere near the time set down by Christian Lundgaard in the last session, 58.532. Combined fastest time so far.
One of the drivers yet on softs, although I show Kirkwood now has put the softs on along with Pato O'Ward, Jacob Abel. So Kirkwood will be one to watch as Palou stays with the hard tire here.
Of course, you can see what everybody's running there by the H&S.
Oh, look at those just tiny little rapid fire adjustments from the white gloves there. Just kind of snapping the wheel to keep the tail end in line. A master at work. Big slide there coming out of turn 7, but he is pushing.
Just try to get, I was just going to say, probably just get this lap done and then come in for those softs.
Middle of the day when the race starts.
Oh, taking all the curb on exit of 12. So big bump for Palou. Will it be a faster lap time for him, though?
And this is going to be interesting because he backed off quite a bit on that last lap. It took a cool lap and then is going for a second hard push lap on these softs. This tire prep and the tire strategy in terms of the run plan, this is become such a big part of qualifying in the IndyCar Series.
And maybe the answer, whether or not they try to keep a set of sticker softs for the race, a second set. So do you give up something if you think you can make it to the fast 6? We've seen that before as well, some gamesmanship. So I think that's the answer they're trying to get right here is, are the Reds good for a second run in the same outing?
That car looks so strong out of turn 7. Just the back end not moving around at all as Palou clocks the line.
58.6.
So 0.3 off his best time.
Well, a 10th. 58.67. So that's a pretty good read right there for Palou and the 10 team. Maybe you can double stint in quali
without the toe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that could have been a pretty even time. Looks like he's on another push.
Either way, this is an ominous signal to the rest of the field.
Well, you compare it to Pato O'Ward, who's in the conversation for sure in P3 right now with a fast time of 58.7.
Let's see what Palou does on a third really hard, arguably a fourth really hard lap on the soft tire.
Well, I think the third one was, or the second one was a proper cool down.
Yes, but I'm just saying he did a hard lap but then backed out of it on the first attempt. So this is like 4 really hard laps on the tires. What was that lap, Will?
That
was an
58.9.
But I'm
8, excuse me.
Looking at the man who's just jumped up to second, Mr. David Malukas with a 58.749. Armstrong up to third. Then Kirkwood, O'Ward, and Foster, your top 6. Ericsson, Rasmussen, Siegel, and McLaughlin completing the 10 as the flag comes out. Great pop for Malukas right at the end. That is a strong time for the AJ Foyt Racing runner. How many drivers will this be their last opportunity for the win before we get to the short track ovals? It's going to be a fascinating weekend, but it's Lundgaard who has started off in the most positive way possible. 58.532 to top the times from Palou, Rosenqvist, Rahal, and Newgarden. David Malukas, second quickest in the second session, 6th fastest overall from Armstrong, Kirkwood, O'Ward, and rookie Louis Foster.